Hi, my name is Leslie, and this is my journey to surrender. It is currently 86 degrees in my house. It's not fun. On top of being very not okay physically, the mental state is just it's no bueno. I went a little while without the depressions, and now the depression is back. I've also gone a little while without being on my meds. So that's on me. I'm now back on my meds, but now I have to wait for them to kick back in and hope that my body didn't build up some resistance to them, because that's always a thing that's possible. Yeah. State of overwhelm, the list of things that I want to do, that I've got to do, it's big. And there's quite a few things that are all important at the same time. And I can't figure out which ones to do. So I'm kind of just floundering, you know? I feel like if anyone saw my past videos, it's very obvious that I go through these, like, oh my gosh, were they manic episodes? Oh, is that the bipolar? Wait, okay, well, I obviously got too big for my britches and forgot that I am ill. And so I get this, like, these, I don't even know how to describe it other than just urgent. Like, it's not necessarily panic, but it's like urgent. Like, everything just feels urgent and important. And like, I gotta do everything. And oh my God, things are starting to make sense. I'm trying to remember past videos, and it's all, that's another reason why I look back on so many of my actions and just cringe. Other than the fact that I'm also just a very awkward and cringy person. Not sure if you guys have picked up on that or not. Yeah. I came to some realizations yesterday, and I thought I'd share them with you. Actually, I did quite a bit of realization finding things yesterday. They were really cool. But one of the things I realized, and I'm just going to read it straight from my page. I've come to realize that I have a lot of ignorance and naivety. It's honestly really embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I can't even just blame it on my education system, you know? I don't know hardly anything outside of myself. Like when it comes to my inner world, my emotions, my beliefs, and all that stuff, I'm an expert. Okay. I keep my therapist on her toes. And that's because I spent so much of my life in my own head. And now that I'm venturing outside of my head, outside of my own mind, what does that say about my mind when I've spent my whole life battling depression and I've spent my whole life in my head? We need to work on that neuroplasticity. But I could not tell you what's going on in my city. I couldn't even tell you what's going on in my church. Granted, do I go to my church very often? No. Because I don't drive and my health is not good. I hardly hang out with friends unless they come to me. I'm honestly kind of scared to venture out with friends sometimes. Because of my episodes. And I have a desire now to get outside of all that and to get outside of myself, to actually, figure out what's going on in the world. And I want to participate in the world. And I'm realizing I put myself in a bubble long before any of my illnesses did. And I've come to realize I've got a few. And the thing about being alone in a bubble, it does not help with the isolation. And the isolation does not help the depression. I really want to be used by God. And I am holding on to that. God tends to use people in spite of their faults, their weaknesses, he tends to use the little guy because it shows his strength. But when I can't picture how it could happen, it's very depressing. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a better imagination than I do, because he does. But I think I've been denying the fact that I'm depressed. And now that I'm accepting it, I feel even more depressed, which is very frustrating. Because I was frustrated with myself when I was getting overwhelmed and not taking care of myself, and overall just function started decreasing. And that should have been the first clue that the depression is increasing. But I kind of just got stubborn with it. And I didn't want to admit that it was the depression, because I wanted to be just better. And yeah. It is really hard to know that that God could heal you, but he chooses not to. And there's tons of reasons why, that Isaiah 48:10, for I have refined you, but not as silver, for I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. All about refining those faults and those flaws out of us so that we reflect him more. And the thing about illness, it's a built-in furnace. You don't got to take someone nowhere. You just got to turn up the heat. And so logically, it makes sense, and while I know that God is loving and he's merciful and he doesn't desire for us to go through pain, I also know that he cares more about us and our character and our souls than about momentary discomfort. And that doesn't change the fact that it's really uncomfortable. And it can be really tiring too. I have this problem where I try to imagine every outcome. It's possible that it's a trauma response, but it's really exhausting. And right now I'm in this really awkward point where I don't want to be listening to music. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to be watching anything. or listening to anything. I want to just be. Like, just noise is irksome to me. It's like overstimulating or something. And I get this way. Interesting. And I've always kind of sorry, I know I get this way every time I experience spiritual warfare. But I also know that I'm a sensory person. But am I experiencing spiritual warfare? Does it really matter whether it's spiritual warfare or not? Because whether it's spiritual warfare or not, one should still be leaning on God. These past couple nights, trying to sleep has been awful. My pajamas, just the way they feel on my skin, and I don't even mean like just out and about, like when I've changed my pajamas and I'm just doing my thing in my home getting ready for bed, I feel fine. But the moment I lay down in bed, I hate it so much. My sleep has taken a massive hit. Between the restlessness of needing something going on, and at the same time something going on being irksome, the sensory stuff, I've been getting to bed later and later and later. This morning, I didn't go to bed. Sorry, last night. Well, last night I didn't go to sleep until this morning at 7 a.m. So I'm running on like 5 hours of sleep, which I know does not help with the mental state. And I feel like every time I sit down to read this book, it is so hard to do. Something comes up. Somehow I've still been in it every single day because I've been bringing everything back to the Bible. Like, I brought up conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And yesterday, I got onto this whole stewardship kick. And I've got this whole binder. And it's like kitchen and apothecary, medicinal stuff. And then it's got like taking care of the body, and it's got relationship stuff. And I just kind of called it my life binder. And yesterday I did this whole thing where I was like rebranding it. I say that as though it's something, you know? And it turned into, like, I realized it's basically just a stewardship binder. I'm trying to figure out how to steward things. Because, like, you get to the relationships part, and it's just, like, it's a lot of psychology stuff. You get to the health stuff, and it's all just learning how to take care of the... I'm horrible at taking care of my body, myself. Really the whole person. Because a person is made up of the mind, the body, the heart or emotions, and then the soul. And I am very bad at taking care of all four of those things. And the thing is, when you don't take care of all four of them, when one of them starts to dip, the others follow. So somehow each day I've still been in the Bible, because even this binder that I'm putting together, which is over 200 pages, by the way, and I still have so many empty slots, like things that I want in there that I just have like the headings for, but not all the information. I crave type A, but I have the chaos of type B. Am I even understanding the type A and B personalities correctly? I know there's also a type C who's like a mixture of both, and that's the goal. I C leaning A. But yeah. Yesterday I somehow ended up in 1 Corinthians 7. It's that chapter about like marriage and stuff, and the responsibilities of like the husband and wife and divorce and like all that fun stuff. And I was reading it and I realized majority of that chapter, there's like a section like only this big where Paul is like, this is God's command. And all the rest of it, he was like, this is my opinion, not God's command. But God did trust me, so perhaps take it. I'm like, yo, Big Brother Paul, your advice. This book, I want to learn the Hebrew and the Greek because there's so much in this book. You could study it for a lifetime and still only get the tip of the iceberg. I saw the sign. Okay, well, I have to go mix my mushrooms because I'm cooking right now, and they had to cook down. So I guess I'll go finish those, and start working on the other tasks. That way I can get to bed at a decent time. Today is kicking my butt. Anyone who says being a Christian is easy, or anyone who hears those testimonies about how somebody follows Christ and suddenly their life just becomes amazing, that's one side of the coin. The other side is is less fun. There's persecution or just being allowed to not be healed. You know? And just kind of walking through the less than pleasant parts of life with him instead of without him. And I can definitely say I have struggled with the depression both when I was away from him and when I was with him. I barely function when I'm with him. When I'm without him, I don't function at all. So for those people who say Christianity is for the weak, who can't survive without something to help them, that's the point. It's almost like that's the whole point. And I think it's really sad that we live in a culture that says people have to be strong in order to be worth something. And Christianity is literally the core of Christianity, not what religious people turn it into, but the core of Christianity is we're weak. We as people, we're weak. We are foolish. And we're just selfish. And we need help. Which is what psychology says too. Psychology says everybody needs help. You look into neuroplasticity, you look into so many things, and the brain naturally wants to turn inward. It's just how it is. When someone hurts you, you don't naturally go, oh my gosh, I love them. What are they going through? They go, the brain naturally goes, we've been attacked. Defend and retaliate. So yeah, that's literally the whole point of Christianity. You're right. And that's not a bad thing. And I think when we get over this stigma, which we're doing a great job of, by the way, there's a lot of mental health advocacy and people realizing we're not meant to be these super independent people. Like, we're supposed to be able to ask for help and work together and community, you know? It's literally what we were designed for. Codependent, no. But independent, it's not always the best either. Because usually the negative side of independence is somebody who's either too proud or too afraid to ask for help. So I've been on both those. So as a former independent person who's still a very independent person, yeah. Anyway, I'm not even sure how much of this made sense. My brain is really jumbled right now, and that's I don't know if that's the undiagnosed ADHD or if that's the bipolar disorder, but yay. So that's it. I guess have fun, stay safe, and don't die. But if you do, give Jesus a hug for me. Bye, guys.